at you from the Exodus headquarters in Ohio. Let's jump right into today's episode.
All right, we are here at the Great American Outdoor Show. It is day 2. We started pre-sales at the render for the very few folks that came through here, so they were the lucky people to get the first chance to pre-order this camera. If you've listened to this podcast, if you followed the brand, or maybe if you haven't followed the brand, you know that we've been working on this camera for a long time, and we're excited to officially announce Tuesday, 8 a.m., we're going to be releasing the pre-sale of the render, and we just want to talk about the camera overall.
Yeah, super excited to finally get this thing into the public view, I guess. There's been some behind-the-scenes stuff and all the DMs and Facebook messages and calls and emails, people inquiring about the product, and we've been getting them like teasers, kind of just like stringing them along, and we've felt kind of bad about that, and it's almost like a weight has been lifted off a little bit to finally, like, here you go, here it is. Yep. You can buy it. Like, yeah.
Yep.
Pretty pumped.
And we appreciate all the support to see that level of interest come throughout, this whole time, and people being patient and saying, like, I'm going to wait until this is released before I buy a cell cam. I'm not happy with what's out there. I know if you guys do it, you guys are going to do it right because it's taken so long, and that's a good feeling.
It's been crazy, the amount of people that have said exactly that. Like, that's cool. I'll wait. Mm-hmm. Like, if it's going to be 3 months, 4 months, 5 months, whatever, I'll wait.
Yep.
Like, I'm gonna wait to buy in. It's like, damn, like, that's humbling. Yeah.
Yeah. Which, I mean, realistically, we probably could have came to market with this sooner than what we really did. And I mean, we can dive into some of the specs as far as this is a very feature-rich cell camera. The development process should have the fastest transmission times in the industry.
Yep.
It transmits photo and video.
Yep.
It transmits the full photo burst.
Yep.
Complete remote access. Yeah.
So I know a lot of cell cams, just like on the burst side, like a lot of the models, brands, whatever, they'll only transmit that last photo in a burst count, and the rest of the stuff's getting stored locally to a card. Like, how much sense does that make?
Yeah, I mean, it defeats the purpose. I mean, this whole thing is legitimately a tool for real-time application, and if you're missing some of those key components of the data, like, what is the point of doing using it? You're just, you're limiting what you can do with it, and that's why when we went through the development, like, we want to fix those things because we want to use these as tools, and I wouldn't want to use something like that personally. It kind of defeats the purpose.
Yeah, absolutely. You touched on, how long we've been at this, and it's, I don't know how many months, but September of 2017 is when we started, and we've been in the OD portal with Verizon for such a long time. They actually changed some of their requirements on the hardware end.
Yep.
The FOTA functions are a big deal. Some people might not be familiar with that term.
Function, what is?
So FOTA function is firmware over the air, or a lot of people, on the Verizon end, they just call it OTA function. So over the air abilities to do firmware updates, basically software updates, both on the device side and actually the hardware side, which the hardware side is now something new that Verizon has implemented as of October of 18.
Yeah, and for folks who don't realize what that means is with some of these previous cell cameras, you'd physically have to go out. If there was an firmware update, you'd physically have to go out there. If you're on the East Coast, you'd have to drive to the Midwest to your lease to update the camera. Otherwise, it's rendered useless. But for this camera, you can do firmware over the air.
I mean, that's again, like the reason that people buy these things is to use them and be less intrusive and ultimately save time.
Yep.
Being able to set these things up in different states and manage your camera usage remotely. And for it not to have those OTA functions, it's like, what's the point,
And even in security applications, if you have that camera hidden very well and it's 20 foot up on a building or something, if you have to go up there and grab out the ladder every time a firmware is needed, which obviously there isn't like a firmware update every week, but just to help illustrate that, we minimize that problem as well by doing it that way.
Well, even on the module side, like I said, with Verizon changing their requirements to have FOTA functions on the hardware end. So, in the past, Verizon has been limited what they can do network-wise because they have, hundreds of millions of connected devices on their network. And now Verizon's handicapped because they can't maybe do the things they want to do because if they do that, the device on the hardware end isn't capable of communicating, and they're kind of handcuffed. And they've recognized that and now made that requirement that the hardware on the hardware end, you need to be able to have FOTA support and do those updates.
Absolutely. So do you want to dive into some of the specs of this camera for folks who are familiar with the Lift 2? If you've used that as far as picture quality, ease of use, functionality of the menu.
Yeah.
Very, very, very similar.
Yeah.
With the physical product here.
Yeah. So essentially, the render was built with the same chipset as the Lift 2, so same processor, same image sensor, microcontrollers. All of that stuff is exactly the same. So like the standard functions of the camera, the user menu, that's almost identical to the Lift 2. What we did with the Lift 2, that processor and that chipset is so powerful. The Lift 2, not that I don't want to say it just scratches the surface, but that processor has a lot of capabilities. And, diving into this, like using the module and the hardware design on the cellular end, it was very seamless to make that transition into a wireless product. So the standard specifications, the trigger speeds, the trigger delays, flash range, all of that stuff on the standard mode, non-cellular, is identical to what you're going to see with Lift 2. So 0.3 second trigger speed, 1 second photo and video recovery times, all the customizable features, the HD 1080p full frame video, all of that stuff's identical. But with that wireless function turned on, that's where it starts to change things a little bit. There's compression software involved on the photo and video resolutions, to where those photos are being minimized, down to 15 kilobytes
to save data on
to
those
save
planes.
data. Yeah. And the cool thing with our mobile application and web portal, you can scroll through those photos, download those photos, or request HD photos, and there's no cost. Now, that's part of the data plan. Like, it's going to take data because you're transmitting through Verizon's network, but a lot of these other companies are charging for that. And to us, it's like, why?
That's part of the service.
Yeah, that's part of the product.
Yeah.
User experience is the part of the product. So we try to minimize all that back end cost. So there's nothing of that nature.
And to break down some of the compression of the photos, so there's 2 folders on that SD card. One of them is the compression folder, which is being sent to the mobile application. Yeah. And then also all the HD photos are stored natively on that SD card as well. So when you go at the end of the season and you change cards or whatever the case may be, you'll still have all the HD images. But I don't know how many pictures of Big Deer you're getting. You can pretty much request HD as the season goes throughout, and you'll have that full frame, high resolution photo. So
yeah, to me, this thing will store locally. We'll store that data locally, but with the mobile application and web portal, there's really no reason to. You can format your SD card. You can do whatever you want, with your tablet or your phone through the web portal. There's really not much reason to ever put your hands on this once it's set up. Yeah. Whether to pull it down or something like that, but essentially everything, anything you could do with this camera in your hand, you're doing on a mobile device. So if you have 3,000 pictures in a month, like me personally, I just been going through scrolling like, okay, that's a big deal. I need to save that picture, and I want the HD. Yeah. I just download it.
Got it right there. Yep.
Yeah. I never have to worry about pulling a card.
And another big question that we've gotten throughout this development is, does this camera have the 5-year warranty? Yes, this camera has a 5-year manufacturing warranty, the same one, same theft and damage warranty. So in reality, you put a solar panel on this camera, you go put it on a tree for 5 years. You can leave it there for 5 years, and you're covered.
Yeah, essentially. The warranty and customer service, product support, that's like the baseline for us. Like, that's our competitive edge. That's something we control. That's the baseline with everything that we do on the camera end. Now, we can't guarantee Verizon is going to service that network. So this is ran off band 4, band 13, the LTE network, 4G, and that's out of our hands. There's no control there.
They're going to continue to develop those networks, and that's completely out of our hands. Right. Realistically, I don't. In many rural areas, I foresee 4G LTE be there for a long time.
Oh yeah, without a doubt.
And people are getting confused too, though. That 5G is being there. People are talking about that and putting it in these different areas. And I don't know if you want to touch on that.
Yeah. So I've spent some time in Telecom. between the civil engineering and the transition to this, there was a telecom stint there where we were working for an A&E firm, or I was working for an A&E firm managing projects, and it's a very fast-paced industry. It's who's the fastest, who's the largest, and it's a constant rat race there. And the decommissioning or sunset of 3G just started last year, but that starts in major hubs or major markets. Chicago, LA, New York City. The rural outreach of those networks, I mean, that's the last thing on their plate. Like, they're updating the stuff where there's tens of millions of
population.
People. Yes.
I mean, that's if you look at a population map of the U.S.
Right. Yeah. So sometime this year, and every site is going to be different as far as when it's going to be decommissioned. But at some point this year, the 3G stuff will be gone, and if you have a 3G camera, it's not going to work.
It just becomes a regular trail
It's
camera.
paperweight. Yeah.
And we've been to 2 shows this year, and we've talked to a lot of folks that are in that boat, and you can kind of see the distraught look on their face, and
because they bought a camera last year, a 3G camera, because it was on sale for $200, and now they.
And we had a blog post why you shouldn't buy a 3G camera,
yeah.
and that actually did really well, and there was a lot of feedback, positive feedback. Thanks for letting me know.
Right.
And I've talked to folks too when we were developing this camera. When are you going to come out with it? And I said it's going to be a little longer than we want. And they're like, all right, well, what do you suggest? I said, whatever it is, not a 3G camera.
Right. Yeah.
So we try to educate people on that,
right,
because we don't want people to waste their money at the end of the day, no matter what.
Yeah. Yeah. It's not fair to them, and it's ultimately it's not. As a consumer, you're buying products from another company, and they're not telling you that. Like, I would be pissed off too.
Totally understand.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and let's talk about the data plans and the software application that is configured with this camera.
Yeah. So, the data plans are really competitive on the Verizon end. I'm not sure that there's anybody cheaper than what we're doing. So we do pooled data plans, and there's no annual contract, so it's month to month. You can turn the camera on and off as you see fit. So if you only want to run that thing from September through November, you're only paying for 3 months, and then you run it like a Lift 2 or whatever for the rest of the year, and you still have a really solid camera. So we do pooled plans to where you're able to buy chunks of data and share that across several cameras, which actually that's what makes it so nice. So there's a $7 line charge for every camera you have activated per month. So that's something we get charged by Verizon. It's like a pass-through cost.
We're not making money on that.
Yeah. I mean, I think our cost is $6 and some odd cents, and we charge $7.
Yeah.
Like there's no upcharge on that. But then the data plans start at as low as $3
for 500 photos, roughly.
25 megabytes, which people are like, well, how many photos is that?
It's easier to say, roughly photos.
Roughly, 500 photos. Sometimes that could be more, sometimes that could be less. Like I said, the compression software is really good to where the nighttime photos are 15 kilobytes, and it's super, super small, and the daytime photos are about 50 kilobytes. And some of the daytime, the stuff that we're getting on the mobile app, like, they're really good, dude.
Yeah.
Like,
even compressed.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah,
they're really good.
Yeah, really impressed.
So that's kind of how the data plans work. So if you have multiple devices, you're paying that $7 line charge, and then instead of buying 25 megabytes for $3, you can jump up to a gig, or 100 megabytes is like $10. And I think I have our plans inside the company are kind of split up. I think I have 3 cameras on. I've ran 3 cameras on 100 megabytes, and I think I've gone over once where I had to.
Mine's 50, and I haven't gone over it yet.
Yeah. So I mean, you get a pretty good chunk of photos for $10.
Yeah, and I tell people say I'm going to get a ton of photos. If you budget $15 a month for a camera, you're going to have more data than what you know how to. And I think sometimes people overestimate possibly how many pictures they're really getting where they would put this cellular trail camera.
That's a good point, because guys are like, oh, I got 3,000 photos in a week. Like, this isn't something you're going to set up over a feeder on like a 10-second trigger delay and have 50 pictures of the same doe. Like, you can if you want. Like, that's your thing. Go for it. But that's not really what the product is designed or engineered to do. So, most of the applications that guys are buying this for are properties out of state. Like I said, putting these things in areas where you don't want to be intrusive, and just setting it up and letting it do work for 9 months or a year or 5 years, whatever.
Yep.
So,
no, that's all exciting, and I think we've teased the Scouteks app. Some folks from Georgia, Gavin and Wayne, developed this, and it's a fantastic application.
It's really cool.
We see other people kind of pull up their apps, and we're proud of that app.
Yeah.
We're proud of what they've done, and they've done a fantastic job of developing. It's pretty awesome.
Yeah, I mean that's something they've done, from scratch, really. So that's not
it's not a cookie cutter drag and drop app where 10 other companies are running the same app. This is built from scratch and tailored to our cameras, and it's intuitive.
The user experience, the dashboard, the functions, the usability, like I can give it to my wife doesn't know anything. Like, we own a drone camera company. She hears me talk. Like, she can get on my phone and do anything she wants to do with mobile application. Like, it's super, super simple, but super, super powerful. So you're able to manage multiple cameras, multiple cameras, sort through your photos by cameras, by locations, by tags, by most recent photos. Very, very organizational and methodical in that manner. You're able to give these things OTA commands, so you can tell it to take a photo, tell it to take a video, tell it to update the firmware, tell it to format the SD card.
Turn it from hybrid to photo or photo mode to hybrid mode. You can do all of that.
Yeah, you can change any settings that you can do on with your hands on the camera, like you do from your mobile phone.
Yeah, and it's super easy to do.
Yeah, super, super simple.
Click, done.
Yeah, click, done. The way the notifications come over, it's almost like everyone's so used to, the push notifications from social platforms, Facebook, Instagram, and it's the same thing. Like, you get a push notification, boom, you press it, you're in the dashboard.
Yeah, and I'm gonna paint a scene too. You can access everything on your computer as well. You're at work and you're supposed to be working.
Yeah.
You can pull up Scouttek.com.
Yeah.
And you can control your camera from work.
Well, that's the cool thing. Like, so there's a mobile application for any mobile device, so phone, tablet, and then there's a web portal. Now, same functions, they look a little bit different, just the way everything's formatted. It's identical functions, like everything you do on your phone, you could do on a PC or MacBook, laptop, whatever.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people like to look at those photos on their computer anyways. It's a bigger screen.
Right.
Or they hook up the HDMI port into the TV.
Right.
Versus viewing on your phone, which,
right.
So, I mean, integration is very seamless, and I'm not sure how many other web portals are out there for.
Yeah, and again, that's free. Like, the mobile application is free. So a lot of these other companies, they'll have two kind of cookie cutter apps, like, like you said, drop and drag, like, where it's not really all that intuitive or customized for the actual product. And they're charging a service. There's an upcharge there. Like, you get the basic functions
for free, and then the premium version is $3
a month. Yeah, where that premium version you're able to control the camera. Well, what's the point? Like, the point of this thing.
You drop $335 or $400 on a camera.
$400, yeah.
The company should service your product.
Yeah. So that's all of that stuff is with the mobile application. Like, there's no upcharge there. Now, one of the cool things with Scouttek is the social kind of aspect, where if you're on a club or a lease, it's a free app, right? So anybody can download this. My friends that don't run cameras can download it, and I can share those photos with anyone who has the mobile application.
Yep.
You just accept their friend request or their follow, whatever it's called. I think it's called follow.
It's follow.
And you can give them viewing access to where they're only viewing, the thumbnails or the, compressed videos. Or, like, if it's somebody on a lease and you have 10 cameras, you can give them admin access. They might be your cameras, but you can allow someone else to kind of manage them.
What I love, too, is you can get a group of guys together and pull together and, buy 10 cameras.
Right.
And all of you guys can have equal control over those cameras.
Right.
You all download the app. Everyone gets admin access.
Yeah.
And you guys can manage it how you best how you see fit. So.
Right. And just to be transparent on that end, on the social aspect, that's free up to 10. That's free up to 10 followers, I guess. And then there is a charge for like business type accounts. But the cool thing is, like, for us as a brand, like, we can have a brand camera and let everyone in our pipeline.
We'll let you run that camera.
Yeah. I don't have any big deer, so no one's gonna follow it.
I don't want to. I'm just kidding. Yeah. No, but yeah, that's a really cool thing that you guys can people can join in on the hunt and see exactly what's going on, and even for hunting teams too. I mean, we were talking to some of the folks we work with; they were very excited about that as well, because they want people to feel involved in their hunt.
Right.
And I
mean, drive depth and viewership.
Yeah, and it's a way to be transparent. Like, hey, we just got a picture. We're going to kill them, and hopefully you can see
that storyline.
Yeah, you can see that transpire in real time, basically.
Yeah, that's something maybe on the spec side that I probably glazed over. Sometimes I'm bad about that, because
There's a
I'm
lot
so
with
familiar.
Well, there's a lot with this product too.
Yeah, it's a lot more technical than what people realize.
Mm-hmm.
And even when we started, it's like, looking back, like, yeah, this is the most technical product we've ever done. But with the, those OTA functions, you can change upload intervals to, real time, which is they're transmitting photos in
27,
25,
25
seconds, which to my knowledge is the fastest in the industry.
That's fast.
The fastest in the
That's
industry.
very fast.
Now, some of that's dictated on coverage.
Mm-hmm.
So, that's, optimized full signal. As, the signal goes down, your coverage goes down, that stuff changes a little bit. But you can change that to 3 hours, 6 hours, 12 hours, 24 hours.
And that saves you battery life.
Absolutely.
And that saves you getting push notifications.
My wife's already. She's like, what's going on with your phone? I'm like, babe, there's 20 cell cams going off. Like, my phone's gonna be like this probably forever. But what the cool thing with the 24-hour upload interval is, like, for guys who have, normal day jobs and they know they're not gonna be able to hunt, or they have these things set up in Iowa or Illinois and they're in New York, like they know they're not gonna be able to.
They don't need that real-time data at that point.
So they can run it 24 hours, and then, like, maybe the week before or a couple days before they're headed
drive out even.
Yeah, you turn to real time, and now you have real-time data to make, some kind of game plan or devise some kind of strategy when you're going in there to actually hunt. So that's a pretty cool thing.
Yeah, I mean, it's a feature-rich camera. I mean, top to bottom.
Yeah.
It's very spec-rich, and I mean, I don't think we even mentioned the price. So, and we think it's extremely affordable, and really competitive as far as when you look at the whole package of 5-year warranty, 5-year theft and damage. You call us up, you're going to get a hold of us.
Yeah.
And we're pre-selling these at $299 on the website for the first 300 cameras.
Yeah.
And then afterwards, the full price is $335. So.
Yeah. Which is a lot cheaper than a lot of the other 4G cameras. I mean, there's brands selling them for over $400.
And the reason we can do that is because we're consumer direct. I mean, that
goes back to the business model. Like, being direct to consumer is such a big deal with everything that we do. Like, the 5-year warranty, the baseline of what we do with the product support, customer service, that is all tied
to being consumer
that's
direct.
The heartbeat of what we do is being, consumer direct. So it's something we don't, we talk a lot about, but I feel like it's still kind of new in this industry, and I think there's more and more companies adopting that. KUIU, Maven Optics, there's more and more brands doing it. And I think people are really starting to see the value proposition of those models.
Well, I mean, it's ultimately where things are moving, and we're an early adopter in that regard. So we're excited about this. And if you guys have any questions, I know it's kind of a confusing product as far as looking at the full package. Everything will be on the website, all the information. But if you have any additional questions, please reach out, and we'll be happy to walk you through it if you have any questions.
Yeah, one other thing I want to touch base on. Setting these things up it's so easy with the Scouteks app. Like, there's with the IMEI numbers and the SIM IDs, like, some of those pins and numbers, they're like 14, 16 digits, and with other products you're going in and having to read that and type it in
on a weird web portal.
Yeah, on a generic web portal that's not really, the experience isn't all that great, and then you have to wait for the camera to connect, and you're dealing with AT&T or Verizon. Like, all you have to do is open this thing up, turn it on, take your phone,
open up the Scouteks app,
That's it. It's like snapping a picture. Like, there's auto registration
And so for people listening, basically, turn on the camera, open up the Scouteks app, put the camera info, and you scan it.
Yeah.
And it's like an API, and it just picks up all the numbers. Boom, register it. You get to name the camera right there.
Yep.
Press register, buy the data. You're taking pictures, and literally, you could do it in 30 seconds. You could literally set up.
It's so simple.
Possibly faster if you were trained.
Yeah. I mean, it's so simple. That's one that, being the second show of the year and talking to people about this product the last, in person the last few weeks, like, that's one complaint that people have. It's like, well, I have to register this, and then I have to deal with AT&T, and like, you're going through a couple different directions to actually get these things working. And with us, it's your hands off. Like, you're not dealing with Verizon. You're dealing.
It's easier.
With us.
It's easier.
You're
makes
talking
it
to one person, top to bottom. So yeah, I mean, the user experience is off the charts with this thing.
Yeah, we wanted to build a darn good cell camera, do it right, and I think we've done that.
Yep, absolutely.
So Tuesday morning, 8 o'clock, pre-sales will be live on the website, $299 for the first 300.
Yep.
You can check out Scouttek. We'll link all the app and everything that you can check out in there. And like I said, if you guys have any questions, give us a holler, and we're happy to answer. If you any thoughts, concerns, let us know. Or if you just want to say nice job, guys, that might be nice as well. A lot of work has gone into this, so we appreciate it. And we'll still have that Trail Cam Tuesday podcast up. And a way we want to show thank you for following along on this project. If you listen to this podcast, if you listen to it at the very end, we're giving away an Exodus render to someone that leaves a review. Now, if you've already left a review, steal your girlfriend's phone, your wife's phone, your grandma's, take their iPhone and leave a review, because that'll entry as well. So ultimately, unlimited entries if you steal everyone's phone. So that we appreciate that, and someone's going to win an Exodus render. So we appreciate it, and we'll be talking to you guys tomorrow.
Roger that.